Welcome to Cord Cutting Today for October 11th, 2019. This is the show where I break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting right now and give you my opinion on them. If you want to learn more about these stories, check out the show notes down below. I'll put a link to each story in the order I talk about them so you can read about them for yourself. Come up with your own opinions. I'll love to hear from you. Now, if you're new here, do me a big favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It really does help us because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we're doing here. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Well, before we get into the news of the day, let's quickly go over a deal that's out there. YouTube TV is offering a 2-week free trial. There's a catch though. You can't just go to YouTube TV's website to get this deal. You actually have to know somebody who's a YouTube TV subscriber. I'll help you with that in a minute. But YouTube This Week TV emailed out their subscribers a code that they can share with their friends and family to get a 2-week free trial during checkout. Now it's standard, you subscribe, at the checkout there's a promo code section, you enter the code right there. Now, you need to have that code to get this 2-week free trial. YouTube says it's not technically limited, you can share it with multiple friends, but they reserve the right to cancel any code, basically. And I think what they're trying to do is prevent a big news website from posting the code and everybody just goes and gets it and uses it. They reserve the right to shut down that code. Now, the good news here is you probably have a friend that has YouTube TV, or if you go over to Cord Cutters News' tech support group on Facebook, we can probably help you get a code. Just post in there. There's 60,000 cord cutters just like you answering people's questions there. I'll put a link to our Facebook group down below right there. If you have a code you want to share in the comments, that's another great way. But remember, codes are subject to cancellation. Some people said their codes have been shut off after too many people use them, so keep that in mind. But the Facebook group could be a good way to do it. And it's a great group with a ton of people in it to answer your cord cutting related questions. This is really great because right now YouTube TV's at a 5-day free trial, and they've moved this all over the place. They've had free trials as long as a month. They've had 7-day free trials, 14-day free trials, and right now the average is a 5-day free trial for YouTube TV. Often services move the goalposts. I think ESPN Plus has done that a lot too, so keep that in mind. But again, if you have a code and you want to share it, please do. If you're looking for a code, check out our Facebook group down below to get a free 2-week trial right there. Post, maybe somebody can help you out and get a code. All right, let's get into the news of the day because a lot has happened this week. Starting off with, Roku has added a new bandwidth saver mode to stop streams for customers with data caps. So one of the features many people have been asking for a streaming service was like a sleep timer that they could set, and after so many hours it would turn off your Roku player and stop whatever stream you're using. Because if you use a Roku player, you can turn off the TV, but the Roku player will continue to stream. Now, if you remember to hit the home button, you stop the stream. But the problem is when you're watching TV on the couch, you fall asleep, or at night, you may burn gigabytes and gigabytes of data into your data cap as you sleep because your Roku continues to play. Or maybe you're like me and you have a kid who turns off the TV but not the Roku, and when you go in the family room you realize YouTube has been playing, sucking up data all day as your kids are at school. So, or maybe all night even. So this is a great new feature. How it works is it automatically, after 4 hours of no commands through the remote, so no matter what device you're using to control your Roku, if you've not moved anything on the screen, you haven't launched a movie or done anything for 4 hours, a little pop-up box will come and say, hey, are you still watching this? Hit OK for yes. If you don't do anything, it will stop the stream for you. So it's kind of like a sleep timer to a point. Unfortunately though, you can't say I want it for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, etc. It's right now set by default to 4 hours, which isn't bad. It's a nice compromise right there, but it does bring a much needed feature that helps people with data caps. One of the #1 ways I find people go over data caps is because they let their Roku's, Fire TVs, Apple TVs just keep streaming when they're not actually watching it, especially when the TV's off. So that's really cool. I hope they expand this feature and add more abilities to it. Like the ability maybe to have a sleep button on your remote, similar to how your Roku TVs have had a sleep timer for a while, which turns off the TV and stops the stream on it. Hopefully they may bring some of that to Roku players. Now, you need Roku OS 9.2 for this. That's rolling out right now. And to set it up, turn it on or off, because you can disable this if you don't want it. Go into your settings, over here on the left-hand side, the settings menu. Go to networks, where you set up your Wi-Fi connection or Ethernet connection. Right there next to where you set up your Wi-Fi connection is the data saver command, where you can turn it on and off, and a little bit of a description about it. If you need more help disabling that or adding it, check out the show notes down below. I'll put a link to our story, which includes a walkthrough on how to do that. And let me know, what do you think of this feature? Does that help you buy a Roku? For people without data caps, I know you could probably care less about something like this, but if you have a data cap, I think this is a pretty cool feature that Roku should have done a long time ago. I think more streaming players should do this, to be honest with you. All right, next story up of the day, our last Roku story of the day. There's quite a few stories today, hang on there. Roku is testing a new Wi-Fi extender. Now this new Wi-Fi extender will be able to plug it into your home and create another network specifically created for your Roku player, Roku TVs, etc. And this is meant to help with one of the number one reasons of buffering, weak Wi-Fi. You can have excellent internet speed in your home, but if, for instance, you have your Wi-Fi router on one end of the home and your living room TV's on the other, and it's a weak Wi-Fi signal over there, that will cause buffering. Now with this device, maybe you put it halfway through your home, it creates another Wi-Fi network that your Roku TV or player specifically connects to, built for that, and gives it a strong Wi-Fi signal so it can stream Netflix, Hulu, Amazon without buffering. If you are suffering from a lot of buffering, again, I've talked about this over and over and over again, weak Wi-Fi is the number one reason for that. Now this was first spotted over by Bloomberg, that first reported back in, I believe, June, July, somewhere this summer. I apologize, I don't remember if it was June or July. Now TechHive has spotted that's passed through the FCC approval process, and last month Roku started to ask for help out there for people to do private beta testing of this new product. No release date. It could maybe be rushed this year. Probably it's coming out in 2020. We'll have to see. I actually like this feature. I'm not necessarily a big fan of Wi-Fi extenders, but one specifically built for your Roku players may not be a bad idea actually. And again, weak Wi-Fi, number one reason for buffering. So let me know what you think. Would you get this product? Well, leave us a comment. All right, a few other stories. Let's see if we can rapid fire through a few of these. Amazon Music is now available on Apple TV. Spotify also has a new app on the Apple TV. So Apple is bringing in some new music streaming services. Of course, if you have Prime membership, you do get hundreds of songs included with your Prime membership. You can also get Amazon's Music Unlimited service there to access a ton of music, just like you get through Apple Music or Spotify, etc. And of course, if you purchase any music on Amazon's website, that will be available to play on your Apple TV. I love this. The best sound system for many people in their home is actually the one connected to their TV. So if you have a party, having the ability to play this music through your TV speakers, your surround sound, whatever it may be, sound bar, it's a pretty cool feature. So really great to see more music options coming to the Apple TV. Of course, if you're Roku or other devices, you're probably like, I've had these for a while. It's great to see Apple getting some of this now. Also, one of the big stories of the day that kind of flew under the radar yesterday was the FCC has announced plans to give out $61 million to help expand rural broadband internet to offer high-speed internet to rural Americans. So the FCC is, I think, over several $billion, $100 billion or something like that we're coming up on right now, dollars of investments into rural America. If you've watched these videos, you probably heard me talk about why this is important. You're probably like, oh, why doesn't just the internet company run the wires to these rural Americans? Well, in a medium or major-sized town, I run a mile worth of cable. I can connect, 100, maybe 200 or 300 customers. But in a very rural area, I may run a mile or two of cable to connect 1 or 2 customers because people are very spread out. Now, not necessarily all this will be going towards wire services. Some of this may go towards like fixed wireless. If you've watched me talk about fixed wireless in the past, that's the idea that I run fiber down a main street, I put towers along the main street, and I can wire entire neighborhoods in a fraction of the time of running wires down each street, running wires to each individual home. So it's really cool to see the FCC investing in this. In this particular round, this money is going to people in Washington, Massachusetts, Minnesota, California, Montana, Iowa, Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Virginia, and Kansas. Other grants have gone out to other states recently, and the FCC is not done. They're taking the money that has been originally meant to help expand home phone service, but for the last decade or more, it hasn't really been used. It's just been piling up in the FCC funds because you still have a little surcharge on your phone bill that goes towards connecting rural Americans for phone. They now voted to make this fund available for rural broadband. So this isn't really a new problem. When we had home phones roll out, this was the same problem. Hey, I can wire New York City or a medium-sized town like Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I grew up, where if we run that mile of phone cable, we could sign up dozens or hundreds of customers. I go out into rural Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, I may have to run several miles of cable just to connect 2 or 3 customers. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that and let you know more what will be coming out. Now this money is being distributed in phases. There's different goals that they have to meet to get it, and it's going to be several years before all the money is distributed to make sure the money is actually used. All right, next story up of the day, Plex is adding more TV shows. So Plex is launching a free ad-supported streaming service. Plex is a great media center manager. I use it to manage all of our old home videos I digitalized many years ago now. But they've recently struck a deal with Warner Brothers and Lionsgate to bring movies and television shows to a new ad-supported free streaming service on Plex. Then they just announced a deal with Legendary Television Distribution LLC, which is actually, I guess, the parent company or distributor behind some of the movies that or TV shows you even see on Netflix, like the new Lost in Space show. I guess they're one of the parent companies behind that, I guess, according to their website. But they will bring some of their content, which is content you may actually know but just not realize they own, to Plex. Again, it's not going to be everything. Again, it's one of those things where rotating content, very similar like the Roku channel, IMDb TV, Pluto TV, Tubi, Crackle, etc. No release date has been announced for when Plex would do that. They say they hope to have this service launched by the end of this year, and they've been hinting that more and more deals will be announced as they get closer to launching it. So keep a close eye on it and let me know. Do you use Plex? Do you like Plex? Are you interested in their new ad-supported free streaming service? They've had like news and different free content, legal content on it for a while. So let me know. All right, that's it for today. Don't forget, today at 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live on YouTube answering your cord cutting related questions and doing our podcast. So if you join us, Jess and I will do our normal podcast, and at the end, we'll answer a few of your questions right there. If you haven't checked out our weekly podcast, make sure to check that out. I'll put a link to it in the show notes down below. Jess and I do about a 45-minute to an hour long show every week, breaking down some of the biggest stories from the past week. Much more in depth than what we do here. When you just got a few minutes to talk about each story, it can be kind of hard. So check that podcast out if you really want to get in depth and hear what Jess thinks about these stories. And of course, if you can watch it live, that's great. We'll put it on demand on YouTube. And we have an MP3 version available through things like Apple Podcast, TuneIn, and other places. Just search for Cord Cutting This Week, the podcast. So Cord Cutting This Week podcast. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. I hope everybody has a great weekend if I don't see you tomorrow for our recap show. Otherwise, I'll see you on Monday for more cord cutting news, tips, tricks, reviews, and how-to guides. Thanks for your support. I really appreciate it.